been working with your parents I think with Stretch, you were saying, yeah?
Yeah, yes. They really like those exercises. We've done
That's
them
great.
2 or 3 times.
Wonderful. So have you been working with them on the floor, or have you been just
No,
playing?
chair. Yeah, I've been giving them some qigong stuff that I do, but in the chair.
Nice.
And then we start doing the chair stuff that is that PDF that you have.
Yeah, great. Oh, good. I'm glad that's working for you.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So welcome everybody as you're slowly coming on. Nice to see you, Christine.
Hi.
Happy. How's Guernsey?
Oh, it's
Fly
good.
over. Yeah.
We're completely, free out of lockdown.
Oh, nice. I think I'm supposed to be there like right now teaching, aren't
Yes.
I? Isn't it supposed
Yeah.
to be now?
Yeah, pretty much. Certainly this month anyway. Yeah, it's
Well, my spirit is
here.
flying over your island.
Yeah. But this is great having this because, I broke my ankle. So when I
Yeah.
saw you were doing it, that's why I haven't been coming on class because although I could have done some stuff.
Well, no, but I'll actually go over some stuff because it's really important to know how to work with your body when you do have an injury and you can't move and you can't do a lot of stuff, because a lot of the work that we do does allow you to actually channel and move a lot of intention and energy through the body.
Yeah.
And the beauty of working with the subtlety of this technique, particularly at the beginning before we start a lot of the internal strengthening stuff, is that it really allows you, as your sensory level increases, it really allows you to be able to do and move a lot without actually having to physically move a lot. So if I don't cover that today, remind me to, because and I'm sure I will remember. But yeah, great, good. Is it healing well?
Actually, yeah, it is. I've had, modalities, different practitioners as well, and session with you, which is amazing. So
Good.
Yeah, cast off on Wednesday. So yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, and when the cast comes off too, it's really good. I don't know if you're familiar with Castor Oil Packs. Edgar Casey was a big proponent of that. So Google Castor Oil Packs. I mean, castor oil has been used since Egyptian times. That you can really wrap, owie broken things in. It's very powerful. So just check that out online, and you can read up on it. And if you want to wrap or poultice your ankle with anything, castor oil is a good one, and of course other herbs like yarrow is a really good herb for being to knit bones is what always been known to do. So you can also soak the cloth in yarrow or do different things like that. So
yeah, fab. Thank you.
Yeah, happy healing.
Yeah, thank you.
Good. Okay. So let me just see. Great. We've got some wonderful people on. Oh, Sultana's here too. She's one of our teachers. And hello, Sultana. Can you hear me?
Hi. Good
Hi.
morning. Good morning, everyone. Hi.
Good. Yeah, Sultana teaches also at the sanctuary and also online. And she's a certified somatic stretch instructor. And she works. Well, do you want to share, Sultana, a little bit about who you're working with and what you're doing? Or I can.
Sure. I love to. It's my favorite thing to do, which is to share somatic work with others. My work is mostly I work with folks who are beginners and introduction work, and so my work is slower and more dropped in. So I'm really looking forward to this class, and I'm so thankful that Meredith is teaching this class today.
Thanks, Sultana.
Waiting for it, yes.
Yeah. So Sultana has a real ability. When we certify people to teach, it's never about just being able to do the exercises, but to be able to really embody and teach from the inside out. And Sultana she's online teaching as well. So if, it's for beginners and you really want to slow down. I mean, our class is slow anyway, but she really takes you into the body in a really beautiful, slow way. And so also for seniors and people with injuries, it works really, really well. So do check out her classes. You can access them through the somaticsanctuary.com without the. Okay, so we have a couple of new people. Only one of them's on video. If you want to just let me know in the side, and you don't have to be on video. I won't call you out. Don't worry. But if you're completely new to somatic stretch, if you can just drop something in the chat, so that I can know if you've come to class or not, or if it's entirely 100% new. That helps me know where to start. And I have to get my little book of chair exercises. So we're going to be doing the chair today. I dress myself and then it just all comes apart again. So the PDF that people were talking about, you don't need to check. Okay. You don't need to have for this class. The exercises are fairly simple, but there is a PDF down on the somaticstretch.com website at the store. It's called Home and Office, on the website, Home and Office Exercise Series, I think. And so it's a really short, I think it's like 14 pages. You download it, I printed it out, you can put it in a little thing, and it goes through all of the exercises with descriptions. And then at the back, on the last page, it's not queuing properly. Cue the last page. On the last page, you have like a really clear outline of just all the exercises here. And so you can, I've actually laminated that page before for the other exercises and for these ones, and then you can just prop it up at your desk and you can work on the desk. Work not on the desk. Don't work on the, I mean, you can work on the desk if you want to. You can work at your desk. And they're very simple, and there's other ways to, you know, to get into your body. As Doug was saying, you know, he then does some Qigong stuff. It's really beautiful to be able to just get into the energy centers of your body. So I haven't heard from anybody that this is an entirely new class. So I just wanted to say briefly, especially if anybody watches this online for the first time, the whole basis of the work is to always just move with what is comfortable. Stretching in this class doesn't mean reaching for something. It means actually just finding where your range of motion is easy for you and where you start to meet resistance, and then resting there. And that is a reflex that we're not used to feeling. So in this class, what we're doing is we're learning how to feel that reflex. So it's a little bit like being a mime in a box, where here you can move really easily and then you start to meet resistance, but usually you're thinking about going over there. So you shoot right past this, like, you know, semi-permeable little area that's called the stretch reflex. And the stretch reflex is always happening through your body, but we're just talking about a level of it where, you know, every time you push, every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So when you push, it's going to push back. And if you keep pushing, then that's where you can really strain and hurt yourself. And so we're never moving out and thinking about what our external body's doing. We're actually thinking about what our internal body's doing. And there's a lot of classes, you know, I'm teaching 4 times a week, and I have been since March. And so there's a lot of classes always online at geometryofhealing.com on my website, where you can always watch classes afterwards. And that will take you through that process much more so. Today, we're just going to do some simple chair exercises, so that you can loosen up at the desk where you sit often perhaps, and also that you can share, or whenever you can't get on the floor, you're not comfortable getting on the floor. Any questions, please do just drop them in chat. And yeah, really good to see you all. Thanks for coming. So it does help. So Carol, I see you sitting in a chair with sides on it. And it's actually a lot easier to sit in a chair where you don't have sides, because you're going to be moving and doing different things. So it won't stop you entirely, but it's a lot easier to get a chair that just looks like this kind of chair. Okay, I'll just give you guys a second to drop in. So as they're just getting their chair set up, just take a moment to close your eyes and feel your feet on the floor. And just take a deep breath in. Now, the whole basis of this work, I've been teaching since 1986, because I was raised in this work. So I started teaching when I was a teenager. I was like 18. So I've had a lot of years to have this work give me a lot of information. And that's, I think, been one of the biggest blessings, because when you work this way and you just calm into your interior, you start to get the wisdom from your own body. And this is your best teacher. So I'm just helping introduce you to that conversation internally. And what that conversation, while it will tell you many things, one thing it will definitively tell you is that tension begins with an arrestment of breath. And that arrestment of breath happens because of an emotional reaction and response, from the very subtle to the very large. And those emotional and physical responses build up in buckets. And those buckets have to do something in order to be able to not compromise the integrity of the whole. So just take a deep breath in, and then just feel your body settle. Feel the energy of open feet down through the ground. Relax your shoulders. Open your jaw. It's really follow the leader as follow your body in whatever it is that you want to do. So our bodies are a physiological expression of a psychological state of mind. It's a phrase that has come up often when I've been stretching. And that means that whatever happens outside and how we interpret it creates an emotional response that causes a response in our breathing pattern. And our breathing pattern then translates to soft tissue, which eventually translates into muscles. So that means when somebody's angry and you don't even see their face when they walk in a room, you know they're angry because their body is physically expressing their anger through clench, through action, through different things. Sadness has its own hold. So there's no way that we can dissociate between our emotional responses and our physical expression of them. And our breath is what stands as the sentry between the two. So as we're stretching in this way, learning where these little edges are that are the beginning of where we start to meet the stretch reflex. The stretch reflex is there to make sure that you don't hurt yourself. And so you're letting it know that you're actually just relaxing at these edges. And as you do that, breath will just escape and release. And it feels like, it's almost like breath is caught with all of that, the chemicals and the different responses of the body holding, the breath is caught there. And as you relax into the stretch reflex, the breath has a chance to release. And so encourage the breath. That also means that if you breathe actively when you're working, you're helping physically release tension in your body. So it will happen spontaneously, and also give yourself permission to let yourself breathe, because we're trained not to, oddly enough. When someone takes a deep breath in, we ask people what's wrong. So give yourself permission to take a deep breath in. So we're going to start with that, sitting in our chair, feet really open. Deep breath in, lift the shoulders right up to the ears. And pick everything up. Draw your perineum up, which are the muscles that stop you from peeing. So you're feeling this force come all the way up. And this is actually what tension does in the body, very subtly. And now you're just going to let it drop down. So we're taking that tension response and we're moving it from one extreme of the pendulum to the other so that our conscious mind recognizes what it is. So again, breathing in, drawing all the way up. And slowly exhale, watch everything dropping down. Good. If any of you can move back just a little bit so that I can see your whole body, that would be really great. And if you're comfortable already where you are, that's okay too. But it just helps me clock what's going on with you for the people who are here live. Deep breath in. And exhale. I'm just going to mute that person. And deep breath in, lifting the shoulders right up around your ears. And slowly exhale, dropping down. And then just as you're settling everything through your body, just let your chin drop down to your chest. And already there, you'll feel a stretch. Your head is 8 pounds or so. So just take a moment. The whole basis of this work is to focus on scanning your body and letting any muscles release that need to release, that you're not necessarily paying attention to. So you're just scanning your body, looking for another muscle you can let go of. Now, the amount of muscle and torque that we pull in the neck is really quite remarkable. Let yourself slouch a little bit so your lower back comes underneath you and your upper back comes down, and your shoulders are still over your hips, but you're just slouching. You see that breath just escapes. You're just releasing it from all the little nooks and crannies. If you do have the PDF booklet, do just go to the last page and follow through with me. And then just let yourself do a little bit of a gentle movement in and around there, forward and back a little bit, one side to the other. And you're just going to start to notice all of the areas where you feel sensation. So you don't have to be reaching to get a stretch. You can actually just relax, and the stretch rises up to meet you and shows you where it is, rather than you thinking you're supposed to get to some sort of goal, like getting your nose down to your knees or anything. And then just do a little bit of a spiral. And I'm just we're following the exercises, and I'm also just ad-libbing some things that come in as my body just shows me what it wants to do. And so for you at home, do the same thing as well. Just let your body guide you. And if you want to go off on a body tangent, please feel free. You don't have to follow along. You just need to follow your body. And coming back to center, just drop your arms for a second. Let your arms really relax and drop another muscle in your neck. And I just find myself shimmying a little bit, just letting everything sway. And as soon as you start to think, or as soon as you start to notice another part of your body, you'll notice that you started to lift a muscle in your neck. So just let that relax again. Full head drop. And then from here, slowly start to roll up through the spine. So you start with your tailbone rolling down towards Middle Earth, where your feet are already connected. Then you roll straight up through the body, all the way up. Ah. Like the simplest things just make such a difference. And now your shoulders are down, your collarbones are open, the base of the skull is lifted, and just feel the openness of the chest, because this is a place we don't usually go to. It's quite remarkable how as soon as we meet somebody else, often the body goes in. We have responses that protect us, or feel like we're acquiescing to something, different kinds of reactions, or the chest gets very barreled and protective in other ways. So just feel the soft openness of the chest. Feel the collarbones back and open, and feel the base of the skull lifting. And feel the tailbone dropping into the ground, into the earth. And then right from the middle of your chest, lift your arms up. And you just want to contract a little bit back into the shoulder blades, and that's already going to give you a stretch through the shoulders. Now, what often will happen is you will drop your elbows and lift your shoulders, and you don't want to do that. You just want to keep, as if you've got a countertop on each side, or you're sitting in the water and you're not allowed to get your elbows under the water. Just opening back. It doesn't take much movement. Carol, your elbows are down. So see if you can bring your arms forward more so you can really drop your shoulders. And yeah, there you go. And then keep the wrists relaxed too. So we don't have to hold. We just need to lift and be soft at the same time. Beautiful. So it's like water dripping off the fingers. Nice. And then bringing your shoulder blades back. And I say shoulder blades so you don't get caught up with your elbows. And then feel as if somebody's pressing their fist into the chest, you're moving back, but your elbows are pulling forward. You get this really nice stretch in the back. If you do this, which some of you are doing, you don't get the full effect as if you have your hands apart and you're really pulling. So breathe in, exhale, back. Breathe in, exhale, forward. And breathe in, exhale, back. And breathe in, exhale, forward. Now keep your hands apart here and press out through that place in the shoulder blade that often gets kind of nagging. So you see how I'm pressing back in one side and then I'm pressing back in the other. I'm just really pressing out. So imagine that there's somebody with their finger right about a half an inch away from where that nagging pain is in your shoulders, and you're trying to reach them. Good. Great. And then deep breath in, exhale, and open. Yeah. And then forward. And now lift into a big circle with your arms all the way around. You can see how that's already strengthening. So you're really toning the muscles when you're giving them such an opportunity to elongate and also carry load at the same time. That's much more effective than just getting it to carry load and pumping it. And down, and then let your palms come down, fingertips up. That's not where this part comes, but that's okay, because that's what my body wants to do and it feels good. And then just loosen. Good. And just open your jaw and open your joints. And just let your body move a little bit. You know, so I grew up hearing my mother say, because this work comes from my grandfather to my mother to me. And I remember always watching my grandfather stretch on the veranda of his house in the morning with his weird concoctions of herbs that he'd picked that morning. And I've always heard my mother say, control is not keeping everything together. Control is picking up one part and letting the rest drop, and then picking up another part and letting the rest drop. So we're learning what parts are connected to what, so we can create that kind of litheness through the body, which happens with very simple measures. So you're going to clasp your hands behind your head and just lift an elbow up and stretch through the side of the body. And then change sides. And center and change. So where do you notice the sensation? You'll notice it in your upper body, but do you also notice it in your lower body at all? Just take note. Just moving a little bit side to side on what feels good for you. And then come back to center, and you're just going to contract your elbows back. So I'm pressing my hands a little bit against my head, and I'm bringing the elbows back. And just feel open space where you can feel open space. Sometimes we focus so much on like, oh, I didn't know I was so tight. Feel where the open spaces are too. Don't ignore them. And then relax the elbows. And now we're going to keep our hips where they are. And we're just going to turn the body to the side. Now, you're stretching, but you're also strengthening here. So what parts are you stretching and what parts are you strengthening? And just take note of those. Notice you can go even a little bit further after you've been there for a while. And then back to center. Slowly rotate over to the other side. So your spine has nerves running out from each level of vertebra. And that is feeding everything down to your fingertips and your toes, every little micro area of your body. So when we're working with the spine, we're really activating the whole body. And back to center. And then just shake your arms out, shake them down. And take a deep breath in again, shoulders up. And exhale. And as you come down, really breathe out through the palms like you're breathing out through the feet. Feel the anchoring in the middle of the chest. And slowly lift. And release. Shake out the hands. Take a breath in. Lift all the shoulders right up so you can show your mind what your body's doing for you when it grabs and feels nervous and holds tension up, and then just let it go. Notice that we have the opposing reflex given the choice. Let the hands come down, fingertips up, open through the chest, and lift. And I'm just kind of gently, you can just gently swing a little bit, move a little bit into where the stretch is for you. Now, in the diagram, I'm going to show you where the arms are for the head. But for right now, just because this is such a sweet spot to be able to get into the whole arm, shoulder, neck complex, feel your hand on the opposite side of where you're leaning, moving in one direction, and your head is just relaxing to the other, and then change. So there's so much we can do just by relaxation instead of that rather silly thing that we used to learn back in the aerobics days of grabbing your head and just pulling it to the side, which is so superficial and yanking and doesn't get into these soft little gentle areas that are actually where we're holding the tension. Now, because I'm very sensitive to my body, I can feel that as I'm relaxing into my neck, my hip is relaxing more. And that's drawing more energy, awareness through my feet that I can feel. So we're just listening inside, and then just let your head roll down and across a little bit. Go ahead and relax the hands. Shake out the fingers and the wrists. When energy releases from the middle of the chest or the middle of the pelvis, and when I say energy, I'm talking about, the actual bioelectrical or an electrical sodium potassium pumps that, we're just a sea of electrical information. And that's the way that we can use all of our senses. That's how we can see and hear and taste and feel. They're all electrical impulses. So when I say energy, I mean energy. And when we release it from the middle of our chest, because it's being locked in and held in a certain way, or in our pelvis, it needs to move down the arms and it needs to move out through the legs. So it's really important to have hands and feet that are really open and available. So the next exercise in the book is to put your hands up around your shoulders. And we do this so that you catch yourself in a slouch. So imagine that you're just kind of between two panes of pliable glass and you're just letting yourself just really open here. You're going to anchor your left shoulder down. And so your elbow is kind of reaching towards the floor. And then you're going to lean away to the side. And I talk a lot about fractal nature and interconnections in the body, which we'll be going over in more detail on August 8th in a workshop I'm doing. But when I do this, see the plumb line that goes all the way down, because this is what started to relax on me. Lift yourself up, change, anchor your elbow on the other side and lean your head away. And then breathe, elbow down and change. And now just lift your chin up a little bit, but feel the support at the base of the skull. You're not dropping your head back. You're feeling the support. Your spine is still lifting you up while your spine is also relaxing down into the ground. Feel that fluidity, and then let the chin come all the way down, across, and up. This part may or may not be in the booklet, but again, you're just following what feels good, and you can follow along with the video. And I'm just going to add to that by extending the arm out to the side. So this is where we're improving off of the general relationship, and just move your wrist around so that that's actually moving into the shoulder. If you're really anchored in through the shoulder and the chest, you'll have a stretch just opening your arm. And you see that breath just keeps escaping. It just requires relaxation. And then change to the other side. Anchor that elbow, anchor the shoulder, extend the arm. And then roll the wrist around a little bit. Nice. It looks so beautiful. You know, that fluidity serves us in so many ways, not just physically, but also mentally. And that translates to our environment and our families and our communities. It's body meditation, coming back to center, and then just loosen through the shoulders. Good. Now you're just going to bring your arm out to the side and you're just going to roll your shoulder over. And then change. And roll your shoulder over. And change. Now, often, because we hold so much tension in the middle of our chest that pulls in to the fabric of the body in the middle of the chest, we don't often roll the whole shoulder over. People will often just move their wrist like this without moving the shoulder over. So coming back over this way and change and over And so now be aware of how this hand comes up and this hand comes over. Relax the muscles in your hips, because when you're thinking, you start gripping. Breathe in and a change. And now as you're changing, feel the extension coming through your arms from the middle of your heart, out through your fingers. And then breathe and change. Nice. And breathe and change. So because the body is fractal, which means that it's mirroring every other part of the body, to make a longer story short, as you're working joints, you've heard me say this many a time, you're working the whole community in the body. So with your ankle broken, for instance, Chris, as you're working any joint through the body, you're actually bringing a lot of nourishment into the joints of the ankles and the feet. And then just release down and loosen. Bring your fists at your hips. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, drop the shoulders down and just press the elbows forward. And release, breathing in. Exhale, down and press. And release. And exhale, down and press. And release. Now we're going to bring the fists up. We're going to pull the body in forward. And then we're going to open it back and really clasp between the shoulder blades. And release forward. And back. And forward. And back. Good. And relax down. And then just feel the elongation through the spine. Feel the openness through the lower body. And just let your head turn to the side. And as you do that, notice the stretches that you start to feel. And just relax into them. And then release and turn. So a lot of times you might just turn your head. But if you're not really just gently going in and contracting the muscles and then feeling like, okay, where can I actually relax while I'm contracting this? That gets you deeper in through the doorway. And change to the other side. And change. And center. Okay, you're just going to bring your fists behind you in your lower back here. And I'm just going to turn to the side so that you can see me, but you can just stay where you're sitting. And you're just going to press your fists into your lower back and then just arch and press back. And release. Breathe in. Let the pelvis come underneath you. And exhale. And again, press. And breathe. And exhale. And press. Good. And once more for good measure. Take a breath in. Exhale. And press. Are your feet relaxed? And release and loosen. Good. So it's amazing, where we hold little parts of I'm really noticing now how my toes want to pull in a little bit this way. And I notice it particularly in the shower. I don't know why. But what I can feel is that it's just a reflection of the torque in the whole line here. And that's an area of pull. And so when I can relax my feet, it can help relax the line, kind of like a natural orthotic. Okay, you're going to bring your legs out to the side, and you're just going to lean your hands into your legs. Again, keep your feet open, pressing into the floor. And just roll one shoulder over, pressing against your leg. And then breathe and change to the other side. Nice. And breathe and change. So think about bringing your shoulder down toward your opposite knee. Yeah, good. And breathe and change. And once more each side. And center. Now you're going to bring one leg back underneath you. And you're just going to drop your head so that you can start to get a stretch through the front of the thigh. And you're going to stretch into the thigh as much as is comfortable for you. The more you kind of lean back a little bit and let the thigh drop, the more you'll get a sense of stretch. And from there, you can even just let your body lean a little bit from one side to the other. Just explore what's available there for you. And then you can press the ball of your foot against the floor, and that will also increase the stretch. And then release the pressure. And again, press the ball of your foot against the floor. And find that area where you can really elongate through the front of the thigh. Relax your neck a little bit more. Relax the pressure of the ball of the foot. And again, press. Now, what my body wants to do is kind of lean back and away and just really start to feel into that area. So just let your body guide you and release the pressure, sitting up and change legs. So I think it helps when you can just put your, I'm kind of blocked here with this bar on this kind of chair. I think it's probably easier rather than having your foot to the side like I just did, but I'm just working with the chair I have. So you just want to drop your head, let the leg come underneath you. There we go. I'm just moving over a little tiny bit. Drop your head. And just play with where the sensation of the lean is that can really open through the thigh. And then press your leg, your ball of your foot against the floor. So you're actually contracting a little bit, but that's creating a stretch because of the drop through the head and the spine. Release the pressure of your foot against the floor and again press. And release. And again press. And release the pressure of the foot, and then just let your body show you what little movement might feel good to get into that area. And release, and coming up. Good. Nice. So yeah, there's just different ways that you can really kind of drop and move into your hips too. So just play with that. And then getting through your hamstrings, you can have your legs straight out if it's up on something, but it also helps just have your heel on the floor and press through your heel and let yourself just lean forward a little bit. So you're starting to get through the hamstrings. I just find like hamstring slow elongation feels so good. And release and change sides. And just so the flex through the flexion through the foot really already starts to stretch the hamstring. And if you want to lean forward in that, it's adding more pack to the punch, but just work really, really gently with it. If at any point you have any questions, please just unmute and ask. And release, and just do one more each side. And change. Okay. And now you can bring your leg up and really tighten and press through your whole thigh, your foot, and your leg. Really contract there. And release. And then really contract on the other side. Good. And release. Now, when you have an injury like you do, Christine, with a broken ankle down in the bottom, anytime you're stretching, at any point in time, like let's say, you've got your cast out and your leg is over here, if you're moving through your pelvis and getting wherever it is that you find a stretch, you can just ease into where you start to feel the stretch and really use your mind to track where you feel the sensation and see it moving out through your foot. See it moving all around in where the break is. Like literally where your mind goes is where you are directing anything in your life, including the energy in your body. So if your mind is over here, your neck is going to contract. But if you bring your mind back to your neck, you can let your neck relax and you can still be aware of over there. So we're learning consciousness shift. And when we're doing that, we're really orchestrating our own energy. So it's not woo-woo to consider that you can actually, with very little movement, just find where the line of stretch is and follow the line and breathe through the line. And that will bring a lot of healing and openness into any given area if you can't move it very much and it's needing some juice given to it and some love. So that's a really important aspect when we're working through the feet or through the wrists. And we did a whole series. I still left it up on my website currently on fluidity and fractals and fear response. And it's really just working with the ideas. We're going to start to work through the hands as we do them in the book, but I'm going to start a little bit with just letting your mind go into all of the little joints that are there and look between the joints. Close your eyes, might help. Look between the joints and see the fluidity that's there, and you're just following the fluidity. Instead of relating to muscles, fingers, pick this up, do that, give yourself an opportunity to actually just feel the fluidity moving through the joints. And even that just releases breath. Yeah. So there are so many bones in your wrists. And can the fluid just speak and move all the bones for you? Nice. Yeah, and I see people just taking that into other parts of their bodies, into the fingers, in through all the vertebrae of the neck and the elbows. Good. So the more we keep that fluidity and that idea, you can bring that through the whole body, through every vertebrae in your spine, all the way down. Think about in your hips, that movement of fluidity, and between in the knees and in the ankles. And even if you can't move your ankle, let's say, or a part of your body in this, as you're moving all the rest of them around, you're feeding fluid into the very area that you can't move, which will just increase healing and also reduce injury. So keep that fluid feeling in mind as we work through the hands and the feet. We're going to contract and make fists with the hands and then open them really wide. And then make fists with them really tight and then open them really wide. And again, tighten and open and tighten and open. And we're going to bring the wrists down and then up and down and up. And then just circle around the wrists all the way around. Don't leave out any part of the circle. And consider what circle your fingers are drawing at the end so that you're really getting a full rounded picture. As I'm doing that, I'm feeling sensation in my feet. And then press open. And press out a little bit too. And can you relate to pressing out from the middle of your chest? Ooh, that felt good. I don't know if you heard that, but everything just popped and cracked all through my wrists, which they don't usually. So something definitely important is moving. Now bring your elbows out to the side. You're going to have one hand up, one hand out to the side. And you're going to hold, I'm just trying to make sure that you can see what I'm doing. One hand up and one hand out to the side. I'm just holding the tops of my fingers and just press back, keeping your elbows out. Okay, so you're holding your hand here. Don't just do this, but hold your hand and press back. Yeah, good. Great. Drop your shoulders a little bit more. Yeah. Don't feel that you have to push your hand or your hand is supposed to perform for you in any particular way. Just let it show you where the range of motion is and where it ends. And then change and press to the other side. Good. Did you hold a muscle in your hips that you can let go of? And release and change. And release and change. And now we're just going to do that just with the thumbs. So slide your hand around where your thumb is. So we just went from this and this to just the thumb. So we're just relaxing the thumb back and change and change. In the PDF booklet, my mother, back when Photoshop first started, my mother spent like thousands of hours very delicately drawing everything out on one of those Photoshop things. And the art of it is amazing, I have to say. She's got the hands down so beautifully. Okay, so just really opening through all the fingers. And next in the book is going through the feet. So you just want to bring your feet up. So you're going to be pressing into the side, over into the ball of your foot. And then bring the top of your foot over. A lot of people will sickle your foot to the side. You don't want to sickle your foot to the side. You want to just try to keep it really straight and directly over your second toe. I'm just leaning to the side this way so that you get a really clear shot of what my foot is doing. But you're just going to be sitting like this and then getting your toes over, which feels so good, again, because you're opening your joints, yeah? And so that's translating to all the rest of your body. You're opening that fluid in your feet will change what's going on through the rest of your body. So when we say we're all connected, we're all connected. And then over and down. And then you're going to bring your foot forward and you're going to tuck your toes in. And then you're going to just press your foot over and bring your toes up. And then press your heel back. Toes in and over and up. So just from the ball of your foot. And then press through the heel. And in and over and up and back. And then just really draw a really full circle. I've kind of skipped over through the it doesn't really matter the order that you're doing it in. And just roll really clearly through the foot. So as I've seen my mother teach, she said, you can just roll through your foot, or you can really use all of the muscles to get through the foot. And then just put your foot on the floor and just roll around in a circle, really slowly. The more slowly that you go, the slower that you go, the easier it is to get into all of these little areas. Whew, I don't do enough of this, I just realized. Because there's just so much information in the foot, especially that big toe, because it's so connected to the liver. So for instance, when people have gout or something that, it's like a fatty liver disease from fatty food or alcohol, different things like that, it doesn't assimilate, your body doesn't assimilate uric acid very well. And so it goes down and it collects in joints, but primarily in the joint of the big toe. And in Western medicine, it doesn't really make sense why it goes there. And it creates these crystals called tophi in there. And that's what make it hurt, makes your joint really hurt, and it can become crippling and really bad in through there. But in Chinese medicine, the beginning of the liver meridian starts right there at the end of the toe and goes right in through that joint. So this is the beauty of where East and West actually make a lot of sense together. And we're in a really exciting synthesis now where we can learn from both the East and West and see where they correlate. And that's a lot of what my work is about through the fractal anatomy work. Okay, so working with the other foot. So again, I'll just stay front. So we're going toes over and then slide the toes under and opening through the front of the foot. And over and under and over and under and over and under. And then you're just going to bring your foot forward. You're going to bring your toes in and just press through the ball of the foot and in. So I'm kind of adding a little piece here. In. And now bring your foot over and then just toes up. Can't see. Just toes up and then press through the heel. Toes in, foot over, ball of the foot presses forward and then flex back. Toes in and over, ball of the foot and press back. Toes in and over, ball of the foot and press back. Good. And then roll all the way around in a big circle, very carefully orchestrated circle of sensation through the foot. It's the simplest things, if you just really focus on it, really create a lot of power and movement through the body. Great. Now, another thing that you can do that I'm just going to add, if you want, you can bring your heel up, your ankle up over your knee. Now, even this might just be too much for people and they can, it just really depends where people are at. But if you're comfortable doing that, then you can just let yourself lean forward a little bit so that you can get into your hip. And this makes my shoulder aware that it's holding. So I drop there and then I can relax and drop my stomach and my spleen are holding here. We hold so much emotion in our stomachs and in our whole digestive system. What is not digestible outside of us is not digestible inside. And so it really affects the digestion. And, that's where the mind and body really mirror inner to outer world. So I'm just letting myself gently rock and explore what angles feel good to work into. And release. Bring your foot down and really feel again that opening through the soles of the feet. Bring your other leg up and over the side of your leg. So this one's not in the booklet, but again, your body will start to do what it wants to do. And just a very gentle exploration. You can also really massage your feet as you do that a little bit too. Really good to work through the joints in your feet. Really just going over into that large joint, pressing up. And you can also walk your fingers in between your first and second metatarsals here, the bones in your feet. And just open everything up and work through the toes as you're exploring. Okay, so coming down, and then we're just going to stand up. And as you stand up, really feel the opening in your feet. Feel all of the space that you've created in your body. And you're just going to lift your arms right up above your head and take a deep breath in. Keep your feet open while your body is lifting up, and then slowly exhale and let it drop. And then again, breathing in, all the way up. And slowly exhale and just let everything kind of drop and open. You can use the wall or the chair or anything that, works in front of you to be able to bring one foot forward and the other foot back. And you're just going to stretch through your calf here. So I'm just going to let myself open through the back of the calf. And then I'm just going to press up. I'm adding this to just open again into the toes. And then press back. Oh, that feels good. And then press up. And then press back. And press up. Good. And then just change legs. Pressing back. And up. And back. And up. And back. And up. And back. So my mother has shot a whole series called Stretching at the Kitchen Sink. It's a great, I think it's like 20 minutes or something like that, or 30 minutes. And you can find it on somaticstretch.com at our store. And it's a great series because my mother stretches everywhere. You just get used to it in your body. And so while she's, got the tea on in the morning, or she's waiting for something to heat up on the stove, she would do all of these exercises at the kitchen sink. So she did an entire series of just standing and doing that. And it's a really great, simple series of exercises that really get into all the different parts of your body. So that's another really good thing for people who don't like to get on the floor, or, if you want to learn how to stretch at your kitchen sink. So we're just going to finish by, I'll just turn to the side so that you can see me. We're just going to move over into the lower back, and the body. So you're just going to bend your knees a little bit and just start to drop down and let yourself just hang where your waist is and move a little bit one side to the other. So we're just really opening now in through the back and in through the lower back, dropping the head. Feels really good. So the stretch sensation never goes away. You just go into deeper and deeper levels of greater and greater sensation and greater guidance from your body. People are sometimes like, well, does the stretch ever go away? And it's like, well, do you ever have to stop eating a healthy meal? It's like you're just always feeding your body, and your body is always feeding you information. So I'm just coming down a little bit more. Come down to what level is comfortable for you. You never have to come all the way down to the floor. And you can be standing up a lot. You don't have to lean forward very much at all to get a lot of effect from doing this. Let the head really drop. Just coming back and forth a little bit. And then come to center and just gently bounce, neck and shoulders relaxed, feet open on the floor. And then press against the floor and slowly roll up through your spine and press your arms back. Really contracting between your shoulder blades, and loosen. And that is your chair class for today. So I hope that feels good. We usually sit and do a little meditation for just a few minutes into the body. I just want to check with you first to see if anybody has any questions. Oh, the screen froze. When did the screen freeze? Did that happen for a long time? Oh, Doug froze.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, yeah, the screen's frozen. I could hear you. I just could. So I was just kidding.
Now my screen is frozen too. Oh, now it's gone back.
Okay.
You were frozen. So could everybody hear me, or did it freeze for everybody?
All good.
Okay, great. Thanks for letting me know.
I think it's just
I don't know
me.
what happened.
I had a question, Meredith. Are these on YouTube at all? Do you have a page where you put these latest videos on?
I don't have a YouTube page that I do that. I should probably do that at some point. But what I do have is on geometryofhealing.com. If you go to online classes, you will always see, I always put the classes down throughout the week. Then I switch them out. So maybe what would be a really good idea with this one is, if you guys want, I can send you directly if you want to. I will just send you the download. And
I've seen I've seen the classes online on your website. Our big TV can access the YouTube, but it can't access the internet. So.
Oh, okay. Well, can it access your computer if I send you a download?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah. I can access it. In fact, I could just create a YouTube page for no one else to see. I could just upload it up to YouTube and then see it that way. If you could send me actual download of the video, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll do that. If anybody wants the download of the video, just send me your email address. You can either do that to me on sands@templebody.com or sands@somaticstretch.com. Sands like the beach, SANDS. Or you can just put your email address in this chat, and I'll save the chat, and I'll just gift that to you guys. You can, it will be up on my website anyway, where you can watch it throughout this week, or maybe I'll leave it up for an extra week or something like that. But I'm also happy to send it to you directly. And if you guys do want to share a donation, great. If you can't, don't worry about it. But if you do that at geometryofhealing.com on the online sessions thing, there is a donate button there. But either way, I'm very happy to, when this is downloaded over the weekend, I'll just email that through a system called WeTransfer. So you'll get a direct email from me, and then you can just download it, and then you'll have it on your desktop forever and ever and ever.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming. The screen does keep freezing now. I don't know what's going on, going back and forth. Does anybody else have any questions? Was that all just really simple and straightforward for you? Okay, good. Great. And so, yeah, email me if you want to, because no one's written their email address in the chat. So thank you very much. And I'm going to leave you, because we've already done an hour, I'm going to leave you with your own meditation, and I'm just going to sit for a few minutes in meditation. And I always encourage people to do that so that you have the opportunity to really absorb your practice. And, you know, underneath all of the tension, there is this real sea of serenity, of bliss, of a lot of, it's like serotonin release through the body. And so when we have a chance to really absorb practice and sit, look for the sensation and welcome it in and let it fill your whole field. And then I like to share that. It's called metta in Buddhism, of just really sharing practice, sharing your practice with the world, sharing that resonance. And the world really needs some calm resonance and calm breath. So thank you all very much for bringing your body and breath to the world. It's really important, and it's really valued, and it really does make a difference. So thank you very much for your support as well. And have a beautiful weekend. And I will see you next week, I hope. Okay.
Thank you, Meredith.
Much love. Thank you so much. Okay.
Bye.
Email with any questions. Bye, everyone.